Hey everyone, I have Brian Knight here, founder and CEO of Pragmatic Works. I'm Alexa Bunting, the marketing coordinator for Pragmatic Works, and today we have a few interview questions for Brian. But first, I want to start off by saying congratulations on 15 years.
Thank you. It's been a long journey.
Yes, but a fun one though.
Yeah, exactly.
So first off, how did you guys start Pragmatic Works?
Well, I was a consultant at the time, and it was in the middle of the 2008 recession.
Wow.
One of the worst times possible to start a company. It worked out really great in the end. And there was a problem that I was on a project for around conversion of something called DTS, which nobody knows what it is nowadays, but it was an old way of moving data around back in the old database platform. And Microsoft released this new platform called SSIS, and they gave no way to migrate from the old to the new that really worked.
Okay.
So I thought there's got to be a better way. So we started the company really around that software, was to make that software work for organizations to where they can migrate those tens of thousands of things they own, those programs they own, to the new platform. And we had a consulting company to help us, make the money to fund the development. So it was very much a bootstrap kind of environment. We had. When we first started, we had an office next to a dog groomer, so we had to kind of schedule all of our demos around the dog groomer's time to make sure that, so when at 10 o'clock in the morning, the animals would go crazy because they were all coming in, and so we had to kind of schedule around those things. Our first office is in Boston. Our sales office was by a train station, so we had to schedule around
loud noises.
Lots of loud noises. I think it was haunted also.
Oh my goodness!
Anyway, so we started that way, and we kind of grew and grew as time went on, and we started adding more software as time went on, and we're like, there's got to be, what are we going to do when this customer fully converts? They can't be a customer of ours anymore because they've done everything. So we built more software to kind of support the customer after the fact.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah, and eventually we added things like training and consulting to that also.
Yeah, absolutely. Just making it more convenient.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So where did you get the idea for the name Pragmatic Works?
Well, it was definitely a humble beginning. It started with a bottle of wine.
Oh,
and it started with GoDaddy. Just trying to find a domain name. When you're looking for a company name, you don't start with company names anymore. You start with, what domain can I get?
Yeah.
And then everything's taken for the most part. So eventually you find that right name. I wanted to have works in the name, so I just started flipping through adjectives and nouns until I finally found something that would work.
Just kind of seeing what would fit, right?
Yeah, so I wish I could say it was inspired, but it was really inspired by a glass of wine and an internet search that night.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what makes you so passionate about training?
Nothing beats watching that light bulb go on with somebody and enabling somebody to where they now have a different path in their life, potentially because of something you do, because something you help them with, right? You're basically empowering people to do something that they couldn't do before, whether it be creating a database, building an app, whether it be building a house, whatever that training is.
Absolutely.
When you give them something like that, you're not just giving them a product or something that's already done. You're not giving them like a house. You've taught them something they can use over and over and over again.
And it's something they can have forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you mentioned the light bulb going off. That's in our logo too.
It is. Yes exactly.
So kind of talking about people, what's your leadership style with Pragmatic Works?
I like to be, we have an open door policy. We want to be really inclusive at Pragmatic Works, whether it be from culture side or whatever side, right? But we also want to be inclusive as far as having an open door and making sure anybody can, all of our good ideas over our history have come from people that were in the field, that were training, that were consulting, that were writing a software. I have very few good ideas anymore, so we want to make sure we include that. So.
And I know we have people from all over the place too, which is really cool. So we get to hear different ideas from different people of different backgrounds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So does Pragmatic Works have any involvement within the community?
We do. So that was one of our big key cultural tenets when we first started the company. We wanted to make sure culturally that everybody's humble. We don't want to have a whole bunch of egos running around our community, our company community.
Yes.
But we also wanted to give back culture as well, because frankly, I need a little karma, right? I've been very, very blessed in life, and I felt like I wanted to make sure I create a company that can bless others.
Absolutely.
So we started a foundation pretty early on, back in 2008, when the recession was hitting. The unemployment climbed to almost 8%, 9% at some points. But the unemployment in our sector was still under 3%. So we started training veterans and those that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan at the time, those that were unemployed, which was quite a few at that point, and those that were underemployed, that meaning they were not making enough to support their family, and showed them how to get into IT. So we started with like a week-long boot camp and some mentoring after the fact. We found some amazing employees ourselves that way, but we also partnered with the community and to hire quite a few people also. So in the end, over the past 10 years or so, we found about 450 people jobs that way. And those people have gone from lifting boxes at UPS in some cases, or lifting guns in Iraq, to now they're working at Microsoft, working at different banks around town, and they've gone from making maybe 20,000 to maybe are being underemployed to now making six figures.
That's amazing. That's incredible that you were able to do that too.
That was all them. We just had to
but at least
spark
help.
the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So last question for you, Brian, before we end this little video today. What are you most excited about for the future of Pragmatic Works?
Well, the technology that we're in is changing so fast, especially with the advent of the cloud, Power Apps and the Power Platform, just changes everything. It's the best thing about the technology we do and the worst thing about technology we do. So when we train a class, when we build a class and we record it or whatnot, or do it live, that class can completely change in 2 weeks. Because they can move things around. It's what makes technology exciting to us, what makes our job so different every week. Yeah. And it's what makes our job maddening sometimes.
Yes,
also.
I'm sure.
So like I had a class just last week, and in the morning, the things were over here, and then by the afternoon, they had moved things to a different location.
Oh my goodness!
So it's like I was giving them instructions, and on their screen it looked different than my screen. So it's just little things like that. But it's also amazing too, because they're adding the rapid pace of development and innovation is never been seen like this before.
Yeah, and it keeps it interesting.
It does.
Yeah,
it makes it interesting. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions today, and thank you all for allowing Pragmatic Works to hit its 15-year anniversary. Thanks again for watching the video.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.